part of our morning readings, which has some poetry in it, actually. The Arabian Nights, 1001 nights, over 1001 mornings we've been able to read 1001 nights. So if you read 3 a day, you could probably read them in a year. So, night 324, morning now dawned, shahrazad broke off what she was doing, what she had been allowed to say. Then, when it was 324th night, she continued. We were having coffee with the knights at night. We have heard, O fortunate king, that Zumurrud asked pardon from the great glorious God, saying, it may be that he will show favor to me by reigniting me soon with my beloved shar, for he has the power to do what he wants. He is kind to his servants and knows their needs. He praised him, asked again for pardon, and resigned herself to the blows of fate, knowing for certain that every beginning must have an end. She recited the lines of the poet. You see, we're reading poetry in a way. Take life lightly, for all our destiny is held within the hands of God. What he forbids will never come to you, nor will that which he orders fail to come. So whatever's predestined, so you could say they believe in predestination to some. She also quoted, let the days unfold and do not enter the house of care. There is many an affair whose quest was hard, but when a happy ending has granted you success. But where a happy ending has granted you. She also quoted, be mild when anger affects you. Show patience in misfortune. Time has left the nights pregnant. Time has left the nights pregnant. Time. It left night pregnant. So something's going to be born the next day. And they give birth to the marvels of all kinds. This is night 324. From another poet she quoted, endure, for if you realized what good endurance brings, you will rejoice, and pain will not distress you. Know that if you do not bear it willingly, you will be forced to endure fate's decrees. Now, for a whole month after she had recited these lines, Zumurrud spent her days in settling disputes between her people, issuing orders and prohibitions, and her nights were in tears and sobs for her lost master, shar. Then at the start of the new month, she ordered the banquet to be set out in the arena as usual, where she took her seat overlooking the people who were waiting for permission to start eating. The seat by the dish of rice was empty. From her place at the head of the table, Zumurrud watched the arena gates to see who was going to come through it, saying to herself, God, who restored Joseph to Jacob and freed Job from his misfortunes, favor me by restoring my master, shar. Through your power and might, you who are the all-powerful, the Lord of all creation, the guide of those who stray, who listens to the cries and answers our prayers, grant my request, Lord of creation. So she's already like the king, but she's praying for her master to come. If you were king, would you pray for him to come?
She loves him, although he somehow messed up twice.
And he's been messing up. He messed up twice, you say, with selling the scarves, and then falling asleep. Before she had finished her prayers, through the door came a young man whose figure was like the branch of a ban tree. B-A-N. Ban tree. In spite of his thinness and pallor, he was extremely handsome. Obviously a man of great intelligence and culture. When he came in, the only empty place he could find was by the dish of rice. Zumurrud's heart fluttered as she looked at him, and when she studied him closely, she recognized that this was her master Ali Shar. It's a good she keeps these stories moving on, right? I'd be afraid of losing interest. If she loses interest, she's in trouble. She wanted to cry out for joy, but managed to control herself, fearing to be disgraced publicly. And so, in spite of her churning stomach and throbbing heart, she kept her feelings concealed. Seems they understood love back then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why Ali Shar had come was this. After he had fallen asleep on the bench and Zumurrud had come down, and then been seized by Jawan the Kurd, he woke up to find himself bareheaded and realized that some robber must have stolen his turban. While he was sleeping, he recited the formula that never brings shame on those who quote it. We belong to God, and to God do we return. Then he went back to the old woman who had told him where Zumurrud was. He knocked on her door, and when she came out, he burst into tears in front of her. Before collapsing in a faint, on coming to his senses, he told her everything that had happened to him. She blamed him harshly and told him that disastrous fortune was his own fault, and she went on until blood ran from his nose and he fell unconscious. That's end of night 324. Seemed we were reading Arabian Nights, Penquin Classics, Malcolm Lyons.
I'll do the next one.
Yeah, it doesn't fit really. I do one at a time. Night 324.